These are crazy, 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 crazy nights. These are crazy, 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 crazy nights. Sometimes days are so hard to survive. A million ways to bury you alive. The sun goes down like a bad, bad dream. You're wound up tight, gotta let off some steam. These are my people, this is my crowd, this is my music, it makes me proud. I feel complete when I'm with you. Corny, I know, but still it's true. I know sometimes I can be a pain. You keep me grounded, you keep me sane, you keep me sane. These days the news is less than ideal. You let me know it's okay to feel. Turn down the volume, no need to yell. You understand, you know me so well, know me so well. Day after day, and night after night, you catch my eye. That's where I find my light. That's where I find my light. Day after day, and night after night, you catch my eye. That's when I find my light. That's when I find my light. These are crazy, crazy nights. Oh, I didn't see you there. Welcome to the second episode of Wilkowske or Wonkowske. First of all, let me just say thank you so much for tuning in last week. There were lots of great responses and lots of great comments, so please keep those coming. Keep them positive.
Also, I want to say, I know there were some of you who were concerned. My son Jack is just fine. I don't know if you heard, but at the very last seconds of my show last week, he slipped on our wood floors, and you can hear me shouting, "Geez, Jack, are you all right?" He's fine, and I've learned that one needs to mute their microphone when doing pre-taped segments. So we'll see if I can figure that one out today. We've got a lot of fun stuff planned for today. Some fun music. I've got a great conversation coming up with athletic trainer Jay Colwell a little bit later in the episode. I'm really excited to share that with you. That first song that I was massacring was one of my all-time favorites by Schubert, Du Bist with an English translation by Kelley Rourke. Love you, Kelley. Now, if you could sense Mr. Schubert's grave spinning even more aggressively than normal, it's because I paired it up with the mid-'80s anthem, Crazy Crazy Nights by Kiss. Not even 70s era makeup Kiss. This is an unmakeupped Kiss that I paired it up with. But it just seemed so perfect. Anyhow, it's National Hospital Week this week, and we can't even begin to thank hospital workers, healthcare workers enough for everything they're doing every single day to help keep us safe, help keep us healthy. There's lots of great ideas of ways you can support these people and celebrate them at aha.org, whether it's a evening shout out or sidewalk chalk murals. I'm sure a lot of you guys are doing this already, but I just wanted to point you in that direction. We're celebrating them all week long this week. Let's get back to some music. I'm going to share some more songs with you from my show Guns N Rosenkavalier, which is a collaboration between myself and John Glover and Kelley Rourke. And it is a celebration of good music. And the idea was to do art songs as rock songs and rock songs as art songs. And we're going to do a couple of those right now. We're going to start with a little Gabrielle Fauré. This is Clair de Lune with an English translation by Kelley Rourke. You know what? My guitar's out of tune. That's a Wilkowske right here. I put new strings on this guitar, thinking that it would sound super nice for you guys. The thing about new strings is that you gotta break them in. And these are not broken in. But hey, I told you guys it was gonna be messy, so here we are. There's the culprit right there. We'll try that out for size. Yes, this guitar stays in tune for about 2.5 minutes, so hopefully we'll get a one song's worth out of it. Here we go. Clair de Lune. Maybe.
Your eyes call to me a landscape of dreams, a realm of soft magic, youthful abandon. Music in waves laps our ears, but some dark sadness swims here beneath our glassy surface. Splashes of song, bright but cold on our skin, a song of love, of life untouched by sorrow. Once we believed our song would never die, but now the song dissolves into the moonlight. The moon hangs in the heavens, self-contained, touched by its light, nesting seagulls are dreaming. Salt water spray and warm salt water tears. White streaks in the moonlight glitter like the finest marble.
All right. We stayed in tune, mostly. All right. Now, I should say, I'm using some new tech this week to help me with some of these next songs. So there's a lot of potential for some Wilkowske situations to happen here. First of all, we're going to move the camera up here. Oh, that's better. Here we go. Are you ready? I'm ready. I feel like $100. This next song is an arrangement by John Glover, by the chanteuse Alicia Keys, singer-songwriter, chanteuse, general amazing person, Alicia Keys, and it's called Try Sleeping with a Broken Heart. And as you can see, there's my friend Lara Bolton right there, and she did the track for me, and it was arranged by John Glover, and I really hope that this works, because this is going to be real interesting. Okay, here we go.
Even if you were 1,000,000 miles away, I could still feel you in my bed. Near me, touch me, feel me. And even at the bottom of the sea, I could still hear inside my head, telling me, touch me, feel me. And all the time you were telling me lies. So tonight, I'm gonna find a way to make it without you. Tonight, I'm gonna find a way to make it without you. I'm gonna hold on to the times that we had tonight. I'm gonna find a way to make it without you. Have you ever tried sleeping with a broken heart? Well, you could try sleeping in my bed. Lonely, own me, nobody ever shut it down like you. You wore the crown, you made my body feel heaven-bound. Why don't you hold me, need me? I thought you told me you never leave me. Looking in the sky, I could see your face, and I knew right where I fit in. Take me, make me, you know that I'll always be in love with you, right till the end. So tonight, I'm gonna find a way to make it without you. Tonight, I'm gonna find a way to make it without you. I'm gonna hold on to the times that we shared tonight. I'm gonna find a way to make it without you. Anybody could have told you right from the start it's about to fall apart. But rather than hold on to a broken dream, I'll just hold on to love, and I can find a way to make it. Don't hold on too tight, I'll make it without you tonight. I can find a way to make it without you tonight. I'm gonna find a way to make it without you. I'm gonna hold on to the times that we had tonight. I'm gonna find a way to make it without you.
I think that worked. I don't know. You tell me. One more song to close this set out. This song needs no introduction. I will just say that this song, Lara Bolton did the track again for this one. And I don't know. All I have left to say is just watch out.
See you on the street and you walk on by. You make me wanna hang my head down and cry. If you gave me half a chance, you'd see my desire burning inside of me. But you choose to look the other way. I've had to work much harder than this for something I want. Don't try and resist me. Open your heart to me. Darling, I hold the lock and you hold the key. Open your heart to me. Darling, I'll give you love if you turn the key. I think that you're afraid to look in my eye. Oh baby, you look a little sad, boy, I wonder why. I follow you around, but you can't see. You're too wrapped up in yourself to notice. So you choose to look the other way. Well, I've got something to say. Don't try to run, I can keep up with you. Nothing can stop me from trying. You've got to open your heart to me. Baby, I hold the lock and you hold the key. Open your heart to me. Darling, I'll give you love if you turn the key. Open your heart with the key. One is such a lonely number. Open your heart, I'll make you love me. It's not that hard if you just turn the key. Don't try to run, I can keep up with you. Nothing can stop me from trying. You've got to open your heart to me. Baby, I hold the lock and you hold the key. Open your heart to me. Darling, I'll give you love if you turn the key. Open your heart with the key. Open your heart, I'll make you love me. It's not that hard if you just turn the key. Hello, Long Beach! All right. Thank you for sticking with me for that. Anyway, my first guest today, my only guest, my second guest on my second show is my good friend Jay Colwell, who is an athletic trainer and movement educator. He is the founder of the Singing Body Clinic, where he gives online coachings to singers and non-singers alike in breath work and body work. He blends together corrective exercise, yoga, Pilates, and other somatic practices to improve physical stability and let singers make a space in their body so that their technique actually can work for them. I've been working with Jay for about a little over a year now, and he's helped me make some great improvements on my posture. You probably can't tell by this video, but we've worked on breath work, and he's also helped me achieve some nutrition goals and fitness goals that I've had for a long time. He's a great guy, a lovely human being, and he's got tons of great information. This is my conversation with Jay Colwell. Jay Colwell, thank you for being here.
You're so welcome.
It's great to have you on. I think there's just so much good information that you have that's good for singers and non-singers alike about how to use our bodies, how to use our voices, and I'm really excited to talk to you about that today. So first of all, tell everyone where you're talking to us from.
Sure. So I'm in Southern Orange County, Lune Beach. So
you're close to Long Beach. You're just right down the road. I am
close to Long Beach, yeah. Just right down the road on a good day.
Right, exactly.
Traffic is crazy.
Oh, man, for sure. So could you just tell us a little bit about what the Singing Body Clinic is?
Sure. So the Singing Body Clinic, it's a sort of studio where I can give students a voice, just more insight about their body and their breath, sort of how these two things are related, how I guess the sensations that we feel physically affect sort of the whole system. It just, to me, what I end up doing typically is just blending a lot of like corrective exercise and strength training and yoga and sort of somatic practices and sort of working with the nervous system. It's kind of just this big collective approach so that I can work with each sort of individual person on their needs.
I'm asking this question to everyone. What is uniquely challenging or uniquely rewarding about working with singers?
Cool. I think they're both kind of the same thing. The challenge and the reward are both there, and relatively the same in that. I think the challenge is helping singers to map what they're feeling and why. And I think when the challenge being then how do I help somebody explore and experience their body differently without them worrying too much about it affecting their vocal technique or negatively affecting it.
Right.
You know, so it's a challenge in that sense to help somebody feel their body differently for a specific reason. And then equally, then the reward is getting somebody to feel their body differently. Yeah. And that's super rewarding on my end.
Our whole body is our instrument, and it's located inside. I mean, it's not not that playing an instrument is any easier or harder, but like you can see where you're putting your fingers or where you're, it's all inside, and it's all what you feel based on what you feel, and people feel stuff different ways. You know, I feel like I feel stuff backwards. Like most of the time when someone talks about how they sing, I'm like, oh, I think of that exactly the opposite way. No wonder.
Totally, yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like everybody and everybody has their own unique experience, right?
Yeah.
And with the voice being inside, unseeable, but so interconnected to everything head to toe.
Right.
Yeah, it's just everybody's approach is going to be different.
What would you say? What lens would you want singers to be looking at their body through right now?
I think stress.
Right? I mean,
So
it's there no matter what. Like when you're performing, there's this level of like that stress that kind of gets you going for. But like now we've got that plus like every single person on the planet has this extra layer of stress that's just like.
yeah, totally. So like there's another like portion of my work is working with physicians, and I do physician wellness, and a lot of it is like stress coaching.
Oh my gosh, what are they? I mean, what are they must be going through right now?
Yeah, it's a unique time for everybody. It's definitely challenging.
Thank you for doing that. That is
for sure.
Really, that is key work.
Yeah. It's super rewarding in its own way too. But that work has informed me so much about working with opera singers in that stress is so present in the work, right? And when it's sort of this like need to perform as perfectly as you can, that's high stress.
Yeah.
And so during this time specifically, I think it's an opportunity for all of us to kind of get in touch with how stress affects us and be aware of sort of our habits to either coping with it or making it better. And just really paying attention to everything within your lifestyle. So it's not like we can pay attention to our bodies physically, we can work out, we can stretch, we can do all this stuff. But everything is so interconnected to everything else in regards to our health. So, are your workouts stressing you out more, right? If you're already stressed and then you're working out in a way that's stressing your body out more, is that really what you want to be doing now? Is your diet something that you're doing or using to cope with stress or to help sort of mitigate and manage it? Are you staring at a screen all day? Are you not moving all day? And then those all affect sleep, all of that affects stress, all of that affects inflammation. And so I think the lens that people should be looking at their bodies through or their instruments through is just really taking this as an opportunity to put good lifestyle habits in place in regards to stress. So
is there, I mean, so say we've done that, say like I've looked at my diet, I've tried to make some, I've tried to cut the screen time down, get good amounts of sleep, really try to say you're doing all the things.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something that you could recommend that can help mitigate the stress on top of looking at each thing? Is there a technique or something that maybe if we're just really feeling it that day, something we can do to just kind of like...
Totally. So physically, one of the things, well, you can use a lot of your body. you have control of a lot of these really cool parts of your body that actually induce a relaxation response. So breath being the most primary one. A breath practice, there's lots of different ways to think about it. But through the lens of stress, typically it's just if you can encourage yourself to take, for example, longer exhales than you would inhales, what that does is put your body into a state of rest over a certain period of time. So there's really simple things. It doesn't have to be this whole like overhaul.
Yeah. Yeah. So you and I have worked on posture. We've been working together for about a year or so, and we've done lots of stuff, and it's all been awesome. But like the main reason why I first contacted you was because our mutual friend Jenny Hauser had written a testimonial about her work with you, and she mentioned specifically breath work and posture work, and I was like, well, I could use some help with those two things.
Totally, yeah.
And we've done a lot of posture work, and could you talk about how posture and breath are related?
For sure. So how I see posture, and they're really like relatively synonymous in my mind. So the first thing we do with our body when we're born is take a breath, right?
Yeah.
And from that, we sort of have this innate knowledge that breath is sort of the most primary thing about our lives.
Yeah.
So we always prioritize it, or learn to prioritize it in response to how we move. So the first postural skill that we gain is lifting the weight of our head and breathing at the same time, and then latching on and taking in nutrients. And then eventually, like, we lay on the ground and we kick our legs and breathe, and we roll over and breathe, and we crawl and breathe, and everything, because the diaphragm is a super important muscle, not only for breath but also for your alignment in your core. So everything is kind of in response to breathing, right? How do I stay balanced with this change in pressure in my body? So in that way, you develop physically really alongside your relationship with breath. And then it only just, eventually all that stuff becomes super ingrained. You don't really remember learning how to walk, right? In the same way, you don't really remember learning how to breathe. And that really comes back again to this sort of somatic idea, in that you're really waking up parts of your body that are just generally absent from your mind, but you use them all the time. Yeah. So posture and breath to me are relatively the same thing. The better we stand, the better we breathe, the better we breathe, the better we stand. And then when it comes to like working with singers, is it the way somebody's breathing that's affecting how they're standing, or is how somebody's standing affecting how they're breathing? Oof. And just seeing which one to kind of go into most. And you just explore and see what you find.
This is amazing. This is all such good stuff. I love it. I want to thank you for doing this. This is my second episode. I really don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to interview people.
Love it.
So thank you. I just want to close this out. I've got this little stupid thing I'm doing called the Fauci 5. Just a quick top of your head kind of questionnaire that I'm ending each interview with. And I've sort of adapted it to be more exercise centric as opposed to opera centric. So do you have a favorite exercise or activity, or maybe an underrated one?
I love running. Always running.
Nice.
I do marathons. I like to be outside as much as I can, so I am always running when I can.
I do marathons too. There was a Star Wars marathon on TNT
nice.
Weeks ago. I got through the whole thing.
Good job. Well, lots of training, right?
Totally. Been training my whole life for that one. Do you have a favorite, maybe a favorite book about the body, or a favorite like resource that you could share with us?
Anatomy Trains by Tom Myers. It talks about and I think this is super interesting for singers, in that it shows how the body is all linked together through connective tissue, fascia. Nice. It's a good way to kind of, if you're looking for images, you don't really have, you should learn the anatomy, you could know the anatomy, it's super helpful too. But it shows you in images how certain muscles are linked together with other muscles, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's super important. We think about the body being the whole instrument. Our brain doesn't think this muscle does this muscle does this. Our brain thinks these muscles do this in this sort of motion, right? It works in movement more than it does one muscle at a time. So helping, again, Anatomy Trains by Tom Myers can kind of just
link to that.
Can show you the big picture about how all these muscles are really linked together.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Any book that you've read recently that you'd like to share?
Yoga Biomechanics by Jules Mitchell. It's really cool. It talks about how to understand attention, how to understand the tissues of your body, and how to adapt them in a way that is productive.
Awesome. Gosh, I'll put links to these down.
Okay, cool.
Great. So what are you doing to stay sane right now, since we're all canceled? Or what are you doing to stay creative? I mean, you're working every single day. You're basically still doing your job as normal, but what are you doing to keep sane?
Totally. The thing I'm doing to keep sane is making myself rest. Like, I'm just trying to practice what I preach, because it really does make a difference. So I have like weird, I do a bunch of weird stuff, but mainly it's like I lay a bunch of sandbags on myself at the end of the day. I lay on my back and I just kind of like stay there and breathe for 10, 20 minutes. And it really does the trick. It's literally like I have to just like calm myself down. Because I tend to be like a very just busy person in my head anyways. So it's just a nice way to support my health, because I know it's a thing that I don't typically do in all the other stuff that I do throughout the day.
And my last one of the Fauci Five here. What are you streaming right now on Netflix or whatever, or what podcast are you listening to?
Totally. The Office.
The Office.
Always. Nice. I could just watch it. I think I don't even know how many times I've watched it. But yeah, just started a season and just go through it.
My daughter is an Office completist. She started, and she'd never seen an episode live. She wasn't alive when it was on the air, and she went through the entire series.
I love it. During quarantine?
She's listening to, no, she started before, and now she's listening to the Office Ladies podcast.
What?
Where it's Pam and one of the other actresses do a podcast where they do an episode and talk about what it was like to do that episode.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Great, I'm going to be streaming that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. I love you. You're the best. I love working with you, and thanks for doing this today.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Andy.
Yep. Thank you so much, Jay Colwell, for that great interview. I had to cut it down for time, but I posted the entire conversation on YouTube, and there's a link to that in the comments below. So check it out. He's got tons of great information, and we just had the best time chatting with each other. So please check that out. As you know, restaurants are one of the most hardest hit businesses in this whole pandemic. And if there's a place that you love, that you don't want to go away, I encourage you, if you can, to please get some takeout or some delivery from that place. Last weekend, we got some takeout from one of our favorite Mexican restaurants in St. Paul called La Cucaracha. I had the Ashlitas Fajitas, which were amazing. They were so good. And my daughter had the chicken flautas, which are also quite good. And then I want to give a shout out to Beachwood BBQ in Long Beach. When I was in there in 2018 singing with the Invention of Morel, my buddy Lee and I, we went there on our dinner breaks often, and we would get a pulled pork sandwich, and we would get some of their homemade beer. Sometimes we'd get that in between rehearsals and then go back to rehearsal having had a beer, because sometimes you have to do that, especially when you're doing a sci-fi opera. But anyway, for those of you who are playing at home, that is one craft beer, one chilled glass, and enjoy it. Here, I've poured 2 of these.
Oh, great, thanks.
It is International Craft Beer Week.
Cheers.
And this right here is a Summit Extra Pale Ale. And Summit beer makes me feel really good inside. It fills me with immense civic pride as a St. Paul citizen. And I just want to thank Mark Stutrud for making delicious beer and also being such a great supporter of the arts and specifically Minnesota Opera. Thank you, Mark. Cheers. Happy International Craft Beer Week. Now, here's how my family's doing on essentials during this pandemic. We've got plenty of food and toilet paper, but I'm getting dangerously low on fresh dad jokes.
That's...
I gotta thank my cousin Phil Johnson for keeping me in the dad jokes. Okay. This whole pandemic experience has forced me to reevaluate my priorities in life. After all this time stuck at home, the new item at the top of my bucket list is wait in line again at the DMV.
Wah, wah.
Our family spent a lot of time during the quarantine playing games together. And now we've started making fun little wagers to make things a little more interesting. Like last night, my daughter beat me in bananagrams, and now I have to give her my car.
I'm excited.
My wife and I have been doing our best to help the kids with their distance learning during this time. We divide up the duties. She tutors the kids in math and science and English, and I teach them how to cut class.
And we love you for it.
All right. I do want to say this online stuff is really great. It gives us a link to the live theater and live music that we so need in our lives. It's not the same thing. It never will be. But it's the best we can do until we can gather safely again. And we don't know when that's going to be. And when we do gather again, we don't really know what it's going to look like. So it's kind of, it's kind of a sad time for us thinking about the future. But it's a hopeful time too. And this last musical number here, I just want to share a song from a show that's very dear to me. It's called All Is Calm, the Christmas Truce of 1914. The show, written by Peter Rothstein, tells the true story of World War I soldiers who laid down their weapons for a magical Christmas Eve evening of peace, where they shared stories, they shared gifts, they shared liquor, they shared photos, and most of all, they shared music with each other. And the show has been a very important part of my life for the last several years, and it's about kindness, it's about friendship, and I have to tell you that these are some of my best friends that I have that are in this next little segment, and getting to hear their voices in my ear was really pretty amazing for me, and I'll take it, even though it's not singing in the same room with them, I'll take it. And it's a song about remembering the good times. So here's Auld Lang Syne, arrangement by Timothy to Catch, by the cast of All Is Calm, the Christmas Truce of 1914.
Should old acquaintance be forgot, and never brought to mind, should old acquaintance be forgot, and days of Auld Lang Syne, Auld Lang Syne, my dear, Auld Lang Syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet, Auld Lang Syne. With wine of virginal grace and blood the Coens fine, what we've wandered many a weary foot in Auld Lang Syne. Fair Auld Lang Syne, my dear, fair Auld Lang Syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet, fair Auld Lang Syne. With wine pedaled in a bern, tremorning sun till dine, but seas between us tread, ten Auld Lang Syne, fair Auld Lang Syne, my dear, fair Auld Lang Syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet, fair Auld Lang Syne, and here's a hand white cross we fear, and here's a hand o'er thine, we'll take a cup of kindness yet, fair Auld Lang Syne, fair Auld Lang Syne, my dear, fair Auld Lang Syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet, fair Auld Lang Syne.
We did it. That's the show. We made it, you guys. And I remembered to turn on or off my microphone. I'm so proud of myself. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank Jay Colwell for that great conversation. I want to thank Phil Johnson for keeping me in dad jokes. I want to thank Annika, my daughter, for being my studio audience. I want to thank John and Kelley for the music and the words. And mostly want to thank you guys in for tuning in. I made a list of all the people in the projects that I talk about in today's show in the comments below. There should be a list there. Please check those things out. Yesterday was Minnesota's birthday. We turned 162 years old yesterday. And sometimes you just got to get out of your house and enjoy the state. And that's what we did a couple of weekends ago. And put together this little video of us walking through the woods. So enjoy that. That's how we're going to close out the show. The song you're going to hear is by our very own, Minnesota's own Okee brothers, who just released an album called Songs for Singin', which if you order it, it comes with a book of lyrics and chords, so you can have your own quarantine hootenanny. So do check that out. We'll see you next week for more hijinks for Long Beach Opera. This is Andy Wilkowske, or Wilkowske. See you on the flip-flop.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night, heading toward the morning light. I wonder if you'd wander with me, and I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods. You're wondering if I go wandering with you, what kind of trouble we'll get ourselves into. Would it be wrong to tag along with a band of vagabonds? You wonder if I'd wander with you. So I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods,